back in the day, there are records saying that he worked at a conservative bar and was actually someone who dressed up as drag, and people didn't actually know if he was a man or a woman. So he's just fighting the norms of the time and just essentially basically expressing himself, like having a good time, you know? So the final person I wanted to talk about today is Mark Ashton. So for those who might not know, Mark is a political activist who was born in Ireland. He is his story is quite known to a lot of people now because a movie is based on it called Pride. So for those who are unaware about Pride, what that is a movie. It's about a movie on a support group called Gays and Lesbians Supporting Mine Workers, who decided to support the mining union at the time, who were in industrial action and had stopped working due to conflicts that were happening with the government. So to give you a bit of a context about Mark himself, so Mark, as I said, is a political activist. He was someone who was very much involved with the nuclear disarmament movement, so very passionate about ensuring that this disarmament of nuclear weapons and ensuring a peaceful world for all. He was very passionate about LGBT issues. So in particular, he did feature in a documentary which featured young lesbian and gay people called Framed Youth, Revenge of the Teenage Perverts. And this was just sort of a film that basically interviewed, which were conducted with straight people about their views on homosexuality, and gay and lesbian people talking about their own lives and experiences. And sort of this film kind of gave Mark a bit more of a lens as to sort of seeing. He sort of describes it as the naivety regarding the police as an institution. So at that time as well, the police were obviously a heavy institution that the government used to discriminate against communities, such as the LGBT community. So he found it very eye-opening to sort of see the fact that the mistreatment and vilification that occurred from the police movement. But moving besides that point, what happened with Mark during his years is that he very much was an activist, so he very much tried to fit outside the norm. For instance, back in the day, there are records saying that he worked at a conservative bar and was actually someone who dressed up as drag, and people didn't actually know if he was a man or a woman. So he's just fighting the norms of the time and just essentially basically expressing himself, like having a good time, you know? He went overseas to Bangladesh and sort of saw the issues over there relating around workers' issues and workers' rights. And he saw a lot of and reflected on this and as to why like he needs to be vocal about political issues, why it was really mattered to sort of look from that lens. It sort of sparked something in him and say, well, he needs to be more vocal. He needs to ensure that those who don't necessarily have a voice have a voice. So continuing on from that, and this spark, he was very much active in his local community and decided to help with organizations like Switchboard, which obviously provides a lot of important work towards supporting LGBT young folk in their experiences as individuals dealing with struggles of identity, but also like trying to ensure that they feel supported no matter what. So Mark, obviously, Mark, being the activist he went to, I believe, sort of like a Labor Day march, and essentially spoke to one of the mine worker, and was sort of impressed when he spoke to the mine worker about the similarities that there were about the ongoing issues impacting the mine workers and how relevant it was actually to LGBT people as well. And as you would assume, like, or what this did was basically Mark decided to form gays and lesbians supporting mine workers. And this was obviously a very important movement at the time because matter of fact is what Mark did was basically build blocks to ensure to address any ongoing issues and similarities and stand in solidarity with the miner workers, which is very important because at the time the mine workers really did not have any support. They had no money really coming in. They the gay and lesbian supporting mine workers movement basically expanded around the country and just like fundraised to ensure like these mine workers had the financial support, because like it just wasn't fair that they thought it wasn't fair that these people weren't earning an income, and wasn't fair like basically because the government was mistreating them at the time. I guess what this story and what the significance is really matter of fact is Mark was able to identify the intersectionality of key issues. He was like, his legacy was basically identifying the fact that there's like, well, most people have some sort of similarities. He was able to reflect and just say, because the statistics at the time was like, supposedly 1 in 5 people are gay, basically. Like, I don't know if that's actually true, but like, matter of fact is like he said, oh well, if there's 1 in 5 gay people, there's got like there's has to be 1 in 5 gay minors, so we need to be in solidarity with them, or like show that support. So really, yeah, the end of the day, what matters is like Mark's activism really left an impact because he really demonstrated the point of solidarity, the point of intersectionality, and really just being vocal on issues, but making sure that communities stick together. So like if there's one issue that a community's going through, then they should be supported no matter what, or be like, we should all work together to address it. Mark's obviously been very much recognized for his work. He unfortunately did pass away from AIDS, but he has been embraced and really significantly remembered as like for his influence and what he has done in the UK to inspire people and their political activism towards like the queer liberation movement. But yeah, making sure that no worries, Des. Basically making sure that the issues are really addressed and pretty much being an advocate for all. So yeah, that sort of briefly sums up about Mark and sort of his contributions, and sort of like talks about his ongoing like legacy of really making sure that providing a voice and platform where necessary, and really just the point of what solidarity means is working with other communities and really standing up front when there's injustices there. So yeah.